for a hike. Hey there, I'm getting ready to go on a day hike this week and just wanted to share with you the concept of 10 essentials that you should always have with you when you're hiking. I carry these things with me whether I'm going on a 4-mile, 5-mile day hike or whether I am going on an overnight backpacking trip. These 10 essentials are always with me. To me, there's nothing more fulfilling than a hike. And I love hiking with my friends, I love hiking with my husband, but I have to say that honestly, I really like hiking by myself. There's something that I get from it. It's a form of meditation. It's a form of just letting my mind quiet that I don't find in other parts of life. When I'm driving my car, my brain is always vociferating. I'm always thinking about a conversation I had, how I wish it had gone differently, what I could have done differently. I'm thinking about the chores that I should be doing. But when I'm hiking, my mind goes blank. And what a gift that is. So let me show you these things that I carry with me. And I will talk a little bit more, not only about the 10 essentials, but about women hiking solo and what an amazing gift it is to ourselves that we give and the responsibility we have to do it safely. So in doing this, I wanted to show you that a comprehensive 10 essentials kit does not have to be huge and cumbersome. I am using a full backpack now while I'm hiking because I'm training for the Appalachian Trail. However, when I typically go for a day hike, I use a very small pack. My fully loaded day pack is a little bit over 8 pounds. That includes food and water and all of my 10 essentials, which, well, food and water are part of my 10 essentials. And it's simply a waist pack. I find it really comfortable. There's no strain on my shoulders, and it holds everything that I need. So let me start taking things out and we'll go over the 10 essentials. So the number one 10 essential item is your navigation system. I have a multi-layered approach to this. I have a bit of redundancy built into my system because I really like using electronics, but I understand that there's a failure rate with that. So I always carry a paper map with me as well. So I tend to keep my backpacking items in an organized way, in the way that I use them most. I have things that I will be most likely using in areas that I can be most accessible, and things that I may never use, but I do carry with me, are further down in the pack. So I have a paper copy of the White Mountains with me. And I also have, as you can see, my Garmin InReach Mini, which is, I believe, 3.5 ounces and has two-way communication as well as global positioning and the SOS button, which you cannot push accidentally. And on my phone, besides the Garmin app, I also use Gaia GPS as well as Guthooks guides. Guthooks not only has Appalachian Trail specific crowdsourced guides, they also have many trails in New England, whether it be the Monadnock-Sunapee Greenway, the Sandwich Range, the Presidential Range. They have them all, which is a really great asset in this area. Something that I wanted to add about my navigation GPS system is that I always have a point person who knows where I'm going to be for the day. Typically that's my husband. If he's traveling, it could be a girlfriend, it could be one of my children. Just getting cell phone coverage at a trailhead is a really tricky thing. So it's another beautiful reason to have a GPS satellite system, is that I will shoot off a message to my husband letting him know that I am at the trail and I'm hitting the trail for the day. And I put my phone in airplane mode because all of the GPS systems work with your phone being on the airplane mode. When I reach the peak of a mountain or above tree line, typically cell phone coverage will come back in. I'll shoot a text with a picture letting them know my status and letting him know how the trip is going. And then I do the same thing when I get back down to the bottom of the trail. I will either shoot a text message or a satellite message to let my husband know that I have made it safely back to the car. The second essential is sun protection. I typically wear a baseball hat when I go hiking to keep the rain off of me as well as the sun. And if it's in a bug-ridden season, I can put my bug net over me and it won't touch my face. It will kind of hang out in front of me. So I like having a baseball hat for my sun protection, and typically in the morning I will put some sunblock on and I will reapply that once in the afternoon. I know I should probably do more than that, but I'm just being honest about what I do. So that's number 2, is the sun protection. Number 3 is going to be nutrition. So when I'm out on a day hike, I know what my goal for the day is. Say I'm going on a 4-mile hike and it's going to be right around the middle of the day, and I will bring a lunch along with me. If I typically eat a lunch of 500 calories at home, on a hike I am going to bring double that, just for safety's sake. That does not mean that I will necessarily eat 1,000 calories, but I'll have it with me. Let me show you what that looks like. So again, this is all easy to reach. I'll have a bar, maybe some meat. Put that aside for now. These ProBar meal replacement, which are amazing. And a mixed bag of nuts and fruits. And believe it or not, this is close to 1,000 calories, which, as I said, I will not necessarily eat all of. But perhaps on the way out, if I'm feeling a little bit hungry, I'll have some nuts and then I'll have lunch. Maybe these 2 won't get eaten during the day, but I have them with me just in case of an emergency. Hand in hand with the nutrition comes hydration. So I carry 2 liter bottles with me that are full. And I also have hydration tabs that I have with me. I typically will drink down half of a bottle and then I'll add a hydration tab which has electrolytes and vitamins in it, and then I will drink the rest of that. In addition, I always carry my water filtration system with me. I carry the Sawyer Squeeze. It's probably one of the most universally used water filtration systems on the market. I keep this on the outside of my pack because when I typically fill up, there's some water that gets caught in the membrane here, and even when I shake it out, I'll tend to have some water that drips out, and I don't want that to get onto my insulation. So besides my water bottles and my Sawyer Squeeze, I will also have my Sawyer filter bag. So this is for my dirty water, and this is how I collect the water to put into the bottles that I drink out of. So I just alluded to insulation. Believe it or not, in this little pack, I carry a down jacket, and I also carry a buff that I can use on my face or my ears or even on my hands if needed. This can be used for so many different things on the trail. I probably don't utilize it as much as many people do. I typically use it just on my head, but there's a multitude of things that this buff can be used for. And in addition, I will have my raincoat with me, and this is to be used as a wind layer as well as just a rain layer for my insulation. So those items, honestly, even in the middle of summer, if I am going to the White Mountains, I will have my down jacket with me. I just don't mess around. We're all just one mistake away from doing something really, really dangerous or even life-threatening on the trail. And when this whole setup is only 8 pounds, why would I even mess with that? It's a very reasonable amount of items to carry for personal safety. So now we start getting deeper into the pack, into the items that I don't use on a regular basis but have with me, and they're kind of kept back in this pocket. Let's do this one last. I carry just an insulative blanket with me as my emergency shelter. I've never used it, but again, I have it with me. I carry illumination, which is my headlamp, that I have modified. I've put some ribbon on it instead of the strap. I probably saved a ½ ounce. It was just kind of a fun project to keep me busy while I was trying to think of doing lightweight items, lightweight things. But keep in mind every so often to check to make sure that your batteries are working and that your flashlight has life to it, because a flashlight without batteries is useless. I have, to go along with that, I carry a knife with me. I have just a single blade knife that's very easy to use. I use it just for cutting meats. I use it for cutting rope, or even some KT tape if I need it on the trail. And fire. So a mini Bic lighter is great for creating fire. Again, I don't typically use it, but I have it in my pack. And first aid. So my first aid kit is a pretty simple one that resembles a thru hiker's kit. I have things like ibuprofen, Pepto-Bismol, Benadryl in here. I also have some rock tape for blisters or for muscle aches. I have bad knees, and I really like rock tape as my bracing for that. I have a variety of a couple different size Band-Aids. A little BioFreeze for aches and pains. I always carry an extra cap for a water bottle, because the water bottles or the hydration bag don't do me much good if I lose a cap on the trail. Little first aid, antibiotic ointment, some eye drops, some more K-tape. I was really prepared. A couple of these pretty amazing blister bandages. Compeed makes them, but actually Band-Aid has started making them as well. They stay on for many days, and they're cushy, which is great with my trail name of Cushy Life, but they are kind of amazing. I really like them a lot. And finally, I have my little repair kit with me. I have some duct tape, and inside of a little plastic pouch, I have a needle and safety pin and a little bit of elastic. I have a repair patch for a down jacket or for anything that may need it, so there's that. And I also have tape for my tarp that I use for my hammock, but this could be used for my tent as well. And I also have, what else is in here? Just some little patches for my air mattress. So those are the things that I carry with me. Let me just go a little further into detail. When I did the long trail last year, one of the things that I realized that was deficient in my setup was my knowledge of first aid. So I went and did a 3-week course with the Solo program up in northern New Hampshire, and became a certified emergency first responder, wilderness first responder. It was an amazing program that empowered me, made me feel more confident in my ability to be outdoors by myself and to not have to rely on somebody else for safety. I feel like when we're talking about specifically women hiking solo, there's a lot of fear, and I don't think the fear is done necessarily out of malice. I think that in my experience, it's people projecting their own fears on me. What do I do about my personal safety on the trail? It's a pretty sad statement that I even have to think about my personal safety on the trail, but I do, as a result of concerns of other people bringing it up to me. What I have done is not only do I carry my knife, I actually carry mace with me on the trail. So it's little, it's I think 3 ounces, 2 ounces, but I carry it with me. If it helps everybody around me feel better, then I'm fine with that. So I'm going to put a link to a website below that discusses the 10 essentials, but hopefully seeing what I carry in my pack and knowing how somebody else does it will help encourage and empower you to go out and give it a try. you don't have to start big. You don't have to go into the mountains. You can go to a park. You can go in your neighborhood. I have some snowmobile trails near where we live that I used to do on a very regular basis just on my own to get comfortable with the idea before I actually ever went up into a mountain by myself. We're lucky we have Mount Monadnock close by, which is a very heavily traveled mountain and makes it more comfortable going on your own because you know you're going to pass somebody. So think about the kind of place that you want to take yourself for a hike on your own and what kind of environment is comfortable for you. I know that I would have never started with a mountain overnight as a backpacking trip as my first experience doing solo hiking. I think building up again incrementally, as I said in my previous video, is my comfort zone. I like to start with one step and continue to add different components to it until I reach a point where I'm feeling pretty good about my environment and my situation. So I encourage you to get out, take a hike, enjoy the outdoors. We're in fall, which in New England is just the most spectacular season. And I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope this gives you some confidence in getting outdoors on your own and not having to wait for somebody else to be available to go with you outdoors. Take care.